What's up guys, and welcome back to another episode of Career Mode. This is episode number 64. I'm starting today's just a brief look at the league table. As you can see, still leading the league, 43 goals in 15 games. But of course, the most important stat is points. Right now, we are 2 points clear of the champions, Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool, as we sit top of the tree, closing out the halfway point. But what comes with being top of the table? Well, there's a target on your back. Every team wants to beat you, every team wants to stop you, and every team feels as though, whilst you might be favourites, they've got more to play for. There's more riding on it. I was listening to a podcast with Dan Carter, the famous New Zealand rugby union fly half, number 10, and he was talking about how with the All Blacks, when they were so dominant, every game they went into, he was talking about how, there was never going to be an easy game for them, because every team they went up against, it was always the biggest game of that team's season, because they were taking on the very, very best. And that's kind of how it is when you're leading the league as well. Every team is going to go into the game thinking this is one of the biggest games of the season, taking on the league leaders, taking on the best team in the division right now. In the Premier League, in this example here, they're going to be up for it. So Manchester United right now, tough starts to the season for them, 10th place in the table, heading to Old Trafford. They would take the lead through that young man. Do you remember him? Morgan Jackson makes it 1-0, but Ivan Toney, the captain, with a glorious chip, makes it 1-1 and levels it for Brentford. And it was a really brilliant first half as well. Great chances, really good action-packed end-to-end football, and 28 minutes in. Well, I've been talking about it in recent episodes. Who's the hero? Ivan Toney or Roberto Gutierrez? Well, I've said it. I can't split them. This is the first career mode save I've done where I've got dual heroes. They're both as important as each other. Roberto fires in the goal to put us in front after Toney levelled it, and we were in front at Old Trafford after trailing early to Morgan Jackson. Before the break, looking for a 2-goal cushion, looking for a third goal. So really nice football. Saw Gutierrez find Toney, takes the ball out of his feet, levers it top bins, and a shocker makes it 3-1 from a goal down in the Northwest to leading by 2. And I love how Gutierrez was the first man across to celebrate with him. It's like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, seriously, the chemistry of this duo is on par with the Splash Bros. I'm talking about long-range shooting. What a goal from Ivan Toney. Manchester United 1, Brentford 3, and that was how the game would finish. All the game played in the first half, really, but Gutierrez with a goal and an assist, Toney with a brace, and Buemo like the third man option bagging a brace of assists as well in a brilliant, massive win at Old Trafford, and that is already our 4th scalp of this season. We've beaten Chelsea, we've beaten Manchester City, we've beaten Manchester United, and we've beaten Spurs. Do you know what? It's 5. Because we beat Arsenal as well, didn't we? Beat Arsenal. Can you say we've beaten 5 of the traditional top 6 already in the first half of this season? I mentioned it in the last episode and the episode before that as well. Mentality, mindset, it's completely changed. Now I go into all these games thinking I can win. And when this guy's in form, why can't we? Josh Da Silva! He's having his best season of the save by some distance. That's his 6th goal in 17 games. He's averaging more than 1 in every 3 right now. But Ivan Toney is still leading the race for the Golden Boot, and 20 minutes into the game against Sean Dyche's Clarets gets another one. Roberto not too far behind him, but Toney right now still leading the way in the race for the Golden Boot as he wants to reclaim it. So yeah, Brentford up by 2. Burnley would get back in the game 66 minutes in. This shot by Hahn, first one scuffed and saved by Baylor, but the rebound turned straight in. So Burnley back in the game out of nowhere. But to be fair, despite them grabbing that goal and half in the deficit, wasn't really under much pressure in this game and were really in complete control. 15 minutes to go, still leading by a goal. Tom Davis comes off the bench and gets what I believe is his first goal for the club. The former Evertonian released by the Toffees a few years ago. We snapped him up, and he's very rarely a starter in this team, but he comes off the bench quite a lot to conserve the ball, to retain the ball. His passing's really good, but he finishes the chance there and makes it 3-1, and then in stoppage time, the chance to make it 4. And honestly, man, this guy is playing his way back into the team. Stanley Young replaced in the summer by James Justin. Very rarely starts nowadays, but at the moment, he's getting a lot more game time. He's not letting me down. Another one for Stanley Young as he makes it 4-1 in stoppage time, and we come through with a comfortable 3 points. Yeah, I took 17 shots in that game, guys. 17 shots. Had I not won that game, I would have been fuming. Still, Champions League draw. Here we go. Brentford have got... Oh, can you believe Look at the blockbuster ties there as well. Real Madrid versus AC Milan. Atletico got Spurs. We've got Bayern Munich in the last 16 of the Champions League. Oh my word. And you know, when I was running you through the groups at the back end of the last episode, there were quite a few teams I was thinking it snuck into second that, you know, I wouldn't say we'd be firm favourites against, but I'd certainly fancy my chances against. But Bayern Munich in the last 16, the best team in Germany, the most dominant team in Germany in the past decade. Well, I know we beat Real Madrid at the Bernabeu, don't get me wrong, famous win there, and I mentioned before, we go into all of our games now, regardless of opponent, believing we can win. But that is going to be incredibly tough indeed. The board have said reach the final, but even getting to the quarters is going to be incredibly difficult indeed. Bayern Munich, last 16, my goodness gracious me. Following game, Wolves away at Molineux, Bruno Lage's side, who are also in the Champions League round of 16 after getting through and topping their group. Taking one away from home here. Again, had a great season last year and a great season this year as well. They had the first two chances of the game, hitting the crossbar in the process. I tried a halfway line goal before the break, but unfortunately put it over. For those that still ask whether I'm still doing it or not, yes, I am. I'm just not getting very close at the moment. Still thought I'd show you that one there, but still 77 minutes into the game, Wolves would get themselves in front. Really quick, incisive breakaway, which Pedro Neto finished brilliantly. Wolves take the lead, and in a game where I just simply hadn't played very well, this is what the best teams are capable of doing. Getting something from a game where they've played poorly. This is not like the Burnley game where I dominated. This is a tough one. I mentioned before, 3 grounds I really don't like going to. Villa Park, Goodison Park and Molineux. Never seemed to play very well here, but in the end was rescued late on through Ademola Lookman. And that's what the best teams, that's what the champions need to do. In games where they've not played well, in games where they've been out of sync and out of rhythm, they just need to dig in and find something from somewhere to get a result. That's what we did. Ademola Lookman off the bench, bangs in one from range, bottom corner, and gives us a point at Molineux. Not a great result, all things considered. I mentioned it before, if we are to be champions, you have to win those sort of games. But, like I said, that's what champions have to do as well. When they're not playing well, when they're out of sync, when they're out of rhythm, when they're struggling, find something from somewhere to claim something. So, yeah, big point there at Molineux, courtesy of Lookman late on. For the following game here, Newcastle United. The Magpies coming to take us on now under management of Eddie Howe. Very, very excited to see how he gets on there with the new Newcastle United era. We would take the lead through Roberto Gutierrez early, but in this game, I don't know what happened. And, you know, you always have these games in FIFA where, like, in the first half, you play really, really well, but in the second half, the script just gets completely flipped. And I don't know how to explain it, but everything just changes. And in the second half, Milik makes it 2-1. And the Magpies, in 5 minutes, had gone from a goal down to leading a quarter of an hour after the restart. And they just completely upped it in the second half. And I mentioned before, you know those games, you know those moments where the AI turned from ultimate to super ultimate out of nowhere. Just like that. And that's what happened. And Milik bagged his brace and made it 3-1 Newcastle United at the Community Stadium. We'd had 3 defeats this season, 2 at home, 1 away from home. And this looking likely it would be our 3rd defeat in West London this season. Watkins got us back in the game with 5 minutes to go of a distant strike, but unfortunately it proved to be nothing other than a consolation goal. Eddie Howe's Magpies get the win by 3-2. Milik with the brace, and Newcastle United comes to Community Stadium, and in one of those really frustrating games where we've got a higher XG, had more shots on goal, I still end up losing. That's just how it is. So at the halfway point in the season, on the back of that shock defeat there, we could have gone 5 points clear. Instead, we're only 2 clear of Liverpool. We still lead the way, but the Reds aren't letting us go. Just 2 points to gap. We are 7 clear of Spurs in 3rd, and Brighton and Aston Villa in 4th and 5th. However, it is still incredibly tight indeed. The real story at the moment is Arsenal in 16th place. Still, Premier League top scorer charts, had to show you this. Look at the two of them. Tony leading the way right now with 17, but he's only a few clear of his right-hand man, Roberto Gutierrez. He and Gutierrez are in the top 3 for assists, but Mbuemo is looking to retain the assist title, and right now Justin Balo is 1 clean sheet away from being top of the Golden Glove chart right now as well. in what's been a fantastic first half of the season for Brentford. However, on the back of that defeat there to Newcastle United on Boxing Day, and before that, the draw against Wolves at Molineux as well, just 1 point picked up from 6, and heading to this game, West London, New Year's Eve, against Fulham. Our West London rivals, along with Chelsea and QPR as well, taking one away at Craven Cottage. The immense pressure that comes from leading the Premier League was there for all to see. I talked about it in the Red Devils game. Every team wants to stop you. Every team wants to beat you. Wolves got a draw against us. Newcastle United got a win against us. But Roberto Gutierrez is absolutely hated at Craven Cottage. I've talked about it. He's the Fulham destroyer. Goal number 15 for the season in minute 15 for our number 7. Every single game we faced Fulham, Roberto Gutierrez has scored a goal. I mentioned it, whenever we face Fulham, the bookies suspend odds on him being anytime goal scorer, because you know it's going to happen, and he gave us the lead. But right before the break, in a very lacklustre first half, Fulham found their leveller with an absolute beauty. It was 1-1 at the break, and I was thinking, oh my goodness, if we fail to win this game, let's say we draw this game, that's 2 points from 9, and Liverpool will cut the gap to goal difference. We need to win this. Cannot afford our third straight slip-up, and 9 minutes after the restart. A little bit of luck, but we will take it. Shot well saved, but Stanley Young, who is just on fire right now, turns in the rebound and says, I don't care if VA aren't improving my stats, I'm still so important to this team. Fulham 1, Brentford 2, and we retake the lead. But 65 minutes in, they'd find another leveller and battle back from a goal down to make it 2-2. I brought Balo out like a moron, and you can't do that against the AI in Ultimate because they'll punish you for that lapse of concentration. It's what they do, little cutback, and Fulham get back on level terms. And then 68 minutes in, what a save by Balo. Incredible stop by our goalkeeper. And from that, we're on the break. Incredible passage. Lookman rolls through Gutierrez. He's in behind the back line. And Roberto Gutierrez makes it 3-2 in an absolute thriller at Craven Cottage. Balo at one end with an incredible save, and on the break, Adamola rolls through Roberto. Hated by Fulham, loved by Brentford. A brace for Roberto. And what a sequence of events. Could have been 3-2 down. Instead, we lead 3-2 courtesy of Gutierrez's brace. We're back in front for the 3rd time. And after that, I thought, you know what? I clearly can't defend. I've got to score more. 1 goal leads are not enough. I need a cushion, and we get it soon afterwards. Quick little cut back to Brian and Buemo. It's Fulham 2. It's Brentford 4. And surely now we're going to claim the 3 points. But Fulham just would not give up. 12 minutes to go and it's 4-3. Fulham refusing to give up as they wanted to stop us from getting back to winning ways. A minute to go, just desperately trying to cling on to the 1 goal lead. Stanley Young rolled forward and Marek Rodak will want that back, but we don't mind. Poor goalkeeping, but we'll take it. Stanley Young gets his 2nd of the game, and that would do it. Goodness gracious me, the pressure that comes from being top of the table is there for all to see. Every team treats the game against yours as the biggest of the season. You got to grind out the results and dig in deep, and we did in this one. Absolute thriller of a West London derby, a game for the ages. 8 goals, but we come through with the 5-3 victory. One of my favourite games of the season that I won. It was just carnage and chaos all game long, especially in the second half. But hey, we're back to winning ways. We needed something special on the offensive end. Braces from Gutierrez and Stanley provide it, and Brentford remain top of the table by 2 points. But it is still incredibly tight, and this season is just getting more dramatic. But that will end this is the career mode, guys. Big thank you for watching. If you enjoyed, please drop a like. Much love to you all. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you for next episode featuring another West London derby, Chelsea at home, the FA Cup 3rd round, and the January transfer window opening as well very soon.